The MCLA Association's championships in Texas semifinal action from Texas Stadium coming up next. Welcome to Texas Stadium in Irving, Texas. Not football, it's lacrosse. The Men's Collegiate Lacrosse Association semifinals. The Michigan Wolverines coming in to take on the Brigham Young Cougars. It's the #1 seed against the #4 seed. I'm Lee Felsmo, bringing you the play-by-play, joined by John Galvin, who coaches the University of Colorado. And John, we'll look at the great athletes in just a moment. But first, take a look at the ladder, the brackets that got them to this game. Michigan seeded #1, cruised right through, beating Georgia in their quarterfinal, and BYU had to beat Simon Fraser, the Canadian team, and they did it to get to this semifinal matchup. Now let's talk about some of the athletes. We'll start with Brigham Young. Who do we look for on the offensive end of the field?
Well, it's number 32, Elliot Groh, just an offensive spark plug for the Cougars.
He is an offensive star, only 5'10", 165 pounds, but he can really shoot well, right-handed, left-handed, can set up the offense, and he'll be marked really tough by the Michigan defense, and they are a tough defense at Michigan, but they've got great shooters as well. Trevor Yealy is a 6'3" attackman. Let's talk about him.
Well, Trevor Yealy is just an inside finisher. He's definitely going to find the seams, and BYU is definitely going to have to watch out for him.
Here's a guy who hangs around the crease and will absolutely annihilate your defense with great shooting skills. Michigan against Brigham Young coming up from Texas Stadium in just a moment.
The game of lacrosse is growing. And with it, a league to support the passion. Nine conferences, 2 divisions, and nearly 200 institutions. A league of truly national scope, from California to Carolina. An association of devotion, of exhilaration, and of passion. This is the MCLA, and these are its faces.
Welcome back to Texas Stadium, Irving, Texas. Not football right now. We are talking lacrosse, the Men's Collegiate Lacrosse Association semifinal matchup. Michigan is the #1 seed, undefeated, 14-0, against Brigham Young, coming in at 13-3. Jason Lamb, the head coach for BYU, he has been just a force in the MCLA and with this team for so many years, 14th year as a head coach. His team, one of the teams that have been here more than anybody else in the MCLA. So he has definitely got a lot of talent. You look at Michigan's side, another rock in the MCLA as far as the management's concerned. But John Paul is the coach. He is a Michigan grad of '92, and he is used to going against Brigham Young, two great programs. And Michigan this year with John Paul comes in at 14-0. I'm Lee Felsmo, joined by John Galvin, who's the coach of the University of Colorado. And John, this is a pretty neat matchup. These are two high-profile coaches, two high-profile teams, two sensational teams talent-wise, so it should be a good one. Absolutely.
This is definitely a game that, you know, two very talented coaches, very talented teams, and we should see a very good game tonight.
So in the yellow, it'll be Brigham Young, it'll be Michigan in the blue jerseys, and opening, oh, I'm sorry, I switched that around. I said Brigham Young in the blue and Michigan in the yellow. Opening face-off gives Michigan the first control of the game. This is a team that's loaded with great defense, and we'll talk about them as the game goes on, but they are big and good. The defense has many all-conference players, and they stand 6'3", 6 foot, 6'5", 6'3", 6'2". They are huge. Shot in close, and an early score by Michigan. This time it's Kevin Zorovich, number 9, and he, from Massapequa, New York, has a nifty feed to the crease, and he finishes right there in front of the goalie.
Yeah, Peter Krause, a great feeder from up top, dodges, they get a slide. Zorovich just cuts right to the ball and finishes a great shot, low and away, and Kikumoto actually didn't have a real good chance of getting that one.
So Zorovich makes it a 1-0 game early on. Not even 1 minute gone in the contest, and right on the Texas Star, they get set for face-off number 2.
This is going to be a good battle too with Brendan Kolitz taking most of the face-offs. He's about 75% in the tournament and throughout the season.
Well, a little bit of heat there as these guys start knocking themselves around. And Michigan in the yellow getting set to reset. So they're 2 for 2 in the face-off, X.
This will be an intense rivalry.
Hard shot from out in front, and the second goal of the game. They're making it look easy as Peter Vasher comes in and, without anybody contesting him, just rips it from up front, 2-0.
It's like a tough substitution from BYU. But Vasher just steps in from about 10 yards in and really just pings the corner. Actually went off Kikumoto's stick. So Kikumoto looked like he was actually on that one and went off his stick. And
Christian Kikumoto, we're looking at him right there, 5'11", 180 pounds. He's a senior, a 7.84 goals against average. There are his numbers, 64%. He scored 5 shorthanded goals this year, so this guy can do pretty well out of the goal. Take a look at that a little bit later in the game. Watch for number 8 to bring it upfield if he gets the opportunity. And another faceoff goes to Michigan. Coming right down the field, check from behind. Open on the left side. And Zorovich takes a little bit of air out of it. Now up top, nobody there. Another hard shot, but this one goes wide. Wow, are they bringing the heat?
Brendan Kolitz is definitely going to be a big factor in this game with all his faceoff wins.
Bobby Morales took that shot after the faceoff, and now they set up with a whole new group of midfielders out here. Peter Vasher has already scored. He's got the ball now. Matched up defensively by number 21, Corby Bivens. Working behind the goal. Watch out for Riley Kearns. Number 37 defending him, Tyler Red. And now up top, Peter Krause gets a little bit of a move against the short stick defender, Corby Bivens.
It looks like they're pulling Peter Vasher with Britton Cohn. And Britton was actually a close defenseman that moved up to long stick because of an injury to BYU's Murphy Smith.
So ball goes out of bounds. It'll be the first time that BYU will get possession and a chance to bring it into their offensive end, but they have not had it there yet.
And both these teams are very aggressive riding teams. They're going to put pressure all over the field. They're going to try to draw you into the middle and try to get the pressure with that long stick.
BYU looking to clear. Long stick takes it over. And he's looking for help. Again, look at that ride. You talk about the pressure, and you're right, John. The pressure by Michigan makes it very tough for them to bring it up. In the goal for them, Graham Townsend. Graham Townsend, about 6'4" himself, making the average defender about 6'3" plus. Michigan's Peter Krause brings the ball down. He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Michigan program really been a successful sort of benchmark in the MCLA with John Paul and what the school has done for the program and the support he's gotten there.
And John Paul is definitely very fortunate. He's got a lot of support from the university, and you know, his guys are treated like varsity athletes and definitely act like it as well.
Ball out of bounds again. It'll be another chance for BYU to bring it down and get their offense set up. They haven't had a real offensive set yet. Not getting it comfortably in the box yet. Let's see what happens here as they go from one side to the next. The intense ride by Michigan predicted by John Galvin, and it's coming up. The goalie's out. Nobody in the net. He missed the ball. They've got to get a shot, and they don't do it. That was an open net. 10-man ride. The goalie was out on the sideline, but BYU could not get an open shot. I was surprised at the feed that BYU made when they had an open net staring him right in the face.
They probably should have pulled the trigger on that one, but, you know, tried to make that extra pass. And, you know, and Michigan will run their 10-man ride. They'll run another pressure package as well. So BYU's definitely going to be prepared for it.
First offensive set for BYU. They're down by 2 or first quarter of the semifinal action of the MCLA. Leif Elsmo and John Galvin with you. We are looking at the winner of this going against the Chapman Panthers, who won the other semifinal. Brigham Young, what's their MO offensively, John? What do they look like offensively? Are they a patient team? Are they taking some time off the ball down here?
Well, you know, they can run and gun, they can transition, but, you know, they're a patient offensive team. You know, they're going to get the shots they want. They're going to really try to pick their possessions and, you know, try to find the, you know, try to put the ball in a guy like Elliott Grove's hands, or even a guy like Justin Heyer, and really try to find those shots.
BYU reloads up top. They take another shot. This one's wide by Elliott Grove. We talked about him at the top of the show, and he can get his shot. He's very quick, 5'10", 165. He was the RMLC Defensive Player of the Year, 24 goals, 54 assists out of Salt Lake City, Utah.
Another facet too is that, you know, Elliott's left-handed, so, you know, it definitely brings another aspect to his game.
Interesting on that last shot, he was coming across for the right-hand shot. I think in the walkthrough yesterday, they were talking about a little bit of a dinged-up situation for him. He gets a lot of attention defensively, and John, is he healthy?
You know, I think he's definitely beat up. I think this is definitely a tournament that takes its toll on players. You know, if you make it to the finals, you're 4 games in 5 days. So, you know, it's going to take its tolls, but I think these guys are in good enough shape, and Elliott's a tough enough competitor to really get through it.
That was a good little sequence right there. It would start with Elliott Grove ripping a feed right through. There's Jason Lamb. Oh, great. Jason Lamb really adjusting his player.
Looks like a little bit of a shutoff with Elliott Grove with Morales, number 13. Playing a little 5-on-5.
They'll get the ball over to Mark Manning, number 2, and now they kick it around behind. They get it to Grove. Now this should be a pretty good matchup. Short stick defender on him. Slide comes early and hard.
That shows a lot of confidence with Bobby Morales, number 13 for Michigan, to be short stick with Elliott Grove.
Well, push call on what could have been a trip on a loose ball, but I guess push is the easier way to go as they give possession back to Michigan. Take a look at it. Live action, ball checked down. Defense very tough in the middle of the field. The MCLA semifinal matchup. Finals will feature Chapman, the Chapman Panthers, against the winner of this semifinal. Chapman, the number 2 seed, and this is the number 4 seed BYU program against the number 1 undefeated Michigan squad. They average 12.8 goals a game. Hard shot up top and another score. Michigan just lighting it up. This is Mark Hammett, who just comes down with that right-handed sweep. And Hammett gets a goal. 3 different goal scorers make it a 3-0 game.
Yeah, Mark Hammett, just a strong drive with a right hand down that righty alley. Just a good jump shot right in that low corner. Seemed like 2 goals have gone right in that lower left corner on that righty alley dodge.
Hammett, a 5'10", 175 senior out of Madison, New Jersey, went to Del Barton. And a little bit of a wounded Michigan player, and that is number 1, Peter Krause, getting up a little slow.
And Brendan Kolitz again winning the face-off, and he's getting it out to his wing guys, and that's again is going to be a factor with Michigan taking the lead and keeping that possession. What
about these 2 teams? Does one have the ability to come back? Do they both have the ability to come back? Is this a problem if they get down by 5, 6 goals?
I think BYU is very good. They definitely have the ability to come back. I think we're going to see something like maybe that the other Final Four where, if a team gets up, then the other team has the ability to come back. So, I wouldn't count out BYU at all.
Justin Heyer working the ball behind, and they kick it around first to number 1. Here is the call.
Blue, number 3 on a trip, 1 minute. Number 3 blue on a trip, 1 minute.
All right, so very clear there for you to understand. Trip on Brigham Young. Guilty party is Paul Sabley. Saby has a brother on the team. They're both playing on that unit.
Tyler's number 13.
Here's the first extra man. They all start out in front of the goal. A little bit of a 1-3-2 look. Get it down close. And the ball is kicked around. Let's see what happens. In the crease is the call. And BYU will get a break there. Christian Kikumoto. Watch how Christian in the goal doesn't keep track of it. The ball comes off the pipe. Crease violation, but he wasn't quite sure where it was. Again, great pressure on Kikumoto, the goalie.
It's a great backside look by Mark Hammett to push the ball to that far right side.
BYU with another set offensively, down by 3. See if they can get something going. Steve Nagel right here, moving behind the ball. Likes this matchup. Peter Krause, the short stick defender, and they slide off him very quickly. Billy Achar working defensively on him now. Now they've changed their pattern. So much of the offensive lacrosse these days is getting the right matchup, getting the short stick defender against one of your offensive stars. Jake Farron, number 44. Josh Austin looking to get some motion going, but I tell you, it's so tough. This defense for Michigan, so formidable, not only in talent, but size-wise. They are huge.
There's some very, very big guys out there that are also very athletic too. So not only size-wise, they're athletic, they're strong, they're fast. So they bring all the right characteristics to a defenseman.
So now BYU will move the ball behind. Steve Negley up top, hard left-handed shot. Wow, he got a piece of that. Elliot Groh really let it go from the left-handed side. You talk about the natural lefty and how it really pays dividends. Graham Townsend in the goal. Watch how much speed he gets on this shot. Hands extended and just rips it, pulls a little bit near side, or else that would have been trouble for Graham Townsend.
And Townsend plays a nice high arc as well. So, Elliott probably saw that near side as he stepped out towards the shooter, and Elliott tried to maybe pull that one towards that near side.
Making the circle around the defense a little tighter. BYU continues to move the ball well. We should talk about the semifinal. Michigan had a number 9 seed Georgia come in and really take them to the limit.
Yeah, Georgia's a very good team. They're very athletic and great goalie play by the Georgia goaltender. Really kept them in it. And a very strong offensive team.
There's a quick goal by Brigham Young. They get one from Mark Manny. It was parked in the crease. Great job by him to get that goal. It's a 3-1 game.
Yeah, Elliot Groh, I mean, not only is he a scorer, he's definitely a great feeder as well. And they have the short stick on him. They're not going to get that pressure on his hands, and he's able to find Mark Manning inside.
So Manning gets the first goal for BYU. We're at Texas Stadium, showing you the MCLA semifinal matchup. Michigan, BYU. Michigan in the yellow, BYU in the blue, and a timeout called or a penalty. It looks like it'll be a penalty called and an opportunity for BYU to get an extra man play.
And BYU has been pretty potent on their men up, especially in the tournament here. I mean, 45%, so they're scoring almost half their men opportunities. They're scoring.
You get above 35, and you're doing above average in that extra man situations, and they are doing great. Starting the 2-3-1 set, so it's 5 guys on 5 guys in front of the goal. Let's see him rotate out. The left-handed shot, bounce shot, finds its mark. Nice job by Steve Negley. And Negley rips that left-hander.
Yeah, Nagley's probably he's a natural righty, but he's able to really step in left-handed and find a great bounce shot. Again, you know, Negley steps away, probably sees Townsend step away from that post just a bit on that high arc, and Negley puts it a bounce shot right over his shoulder.
So left-handed shot against the left-handed goalie. And here's the next faceoff. Now all of a sudden, from a 3-0 game, we have a 3-2 game.
Yeah, this game's going to be streaky. Both teams have the ability to go on their runs, to possess the ball and be smart with it. So, you know, you're going to see your ups and downs for both teams.
Brigham Young scored their 2 goals within 30 seconds of each other as Michigan reloads on their end of the field. Great defensive check, takes the ball right out, in and out of the crease. John Galvin was calling that before the referee called it.
Yeah, a defensive player can't catch the ball and then go back inside the crease. So it's a turnover just on possession.
Teams at even strength, and it's a 3-2 game after Michigan ran off to a 3-0 lead. We've had 5 goals in this game by 5 different scorers. And Michigan
looks like Michigan
really working the ball around.
Has their second line out too. Probably give those first liners a little bit of a rest.
Sven Tinchev, number 44. He's out of the Bullis program in Rockville, Maryland. 27 is Matt Huspenny.
Also, Doug Bell, an attacker for Michigan, is getting some time in too.
Great shot on a cut down the middle. Beautiful job by Trevor Yealy. We talked about him in the open, and he did a nice job off ball of finding the seam, and man, did they find him quickly.
And Trevor Yearley he's a great off-ball player. He almost broke the MCLA record for goals in a game in the first round against Lindenwood, and he's just able to find the seam. You know, most good off-ball players can find seams and bury them too. So he's got both knacks to be able to find the seam and put the ball in the back of the net.
You don't have to worry about him feeding too many people. He had 2 assists on the season. Probably were accidents. And BYU gets one of their only faceoffs of the day early in this game. Riding hard. Nice job by Britton Cone, and they kick the ball in. What a job. Off the faceoff, a little bit of a loose ball situation, unsettled situation in the goal. Graham Townsend just lost track of it here. Take a look.
Justin Heyer comes up with a good ground ball and actually finds a cutting defensive midi of Michael Walker cutting down. And you know, when you have that chance in front of the goal, about 4 or 5 yards off the crease, you're definitely going to be able to hopefully put the ball in the back of the net.
So Walker, who is not really expected to go ahead and charge the net, kind of mixes it up against the big defense from Michigan. And this game is now back within 1 again, 4-3. Texas Stadium home to 3 different lacrosse events this year, so a lot of activity here. The Patriot Patriot League tournament was earlier this season. The Major Lacrosse League game will be here a week or so after this. And this matchup with the MCLA semis and finals in Texas Stadium. Quite exciting. Push out of bounds, given back to Michigan. They will have the 1-goal lead and the ball with 2:34 left. You see the clock ticking down. Michigan continues to kick it around.
Michigan running their second line, trying to get some rest for the Krause line.
Yearly's getting a lot of attention in there, more than he did a little while ago. Taylor Red just all over him on those cuts. Yearly's number 16, right in the middle of your screen. Michigan again working from behind. This time they use Kevin Zorovich. Zorovich going against the short stick defense of Murphy Smith. And they almost get it out of bounds, but not out of bounds. Out of bounds are the outside of the white lines. A little bit confusing, but the outside of the whites. Good shot inside. Whoa, man. How could he pick that ball up? He is tremendous in traffic, as you talked about. Trevor Yearly got that ball between 2 or 3 defenders and got the shot off. Kikumoto made the save. Here we go back down the other end.
Good clear by BYU and able to take a look in transition and then now settling the ball up.
BYU didn't have any goals to under 5 minutes in this first quarter. In the last 4 minutes, they've scored 3 goals.
Both very potent offenses. Both of them have the ability to score in runs, score in bunches, or really score when they have to.
Well, as you compete against these programs, and the programs in any sport get successful, it tends to draw the top players. It makes recruiting a little easier. And of course, they have to maintain that success, and they certainly do at both of these great programs, BYU and Michigan. Broken clear, can't get it cleanly. It was loose in front. Ball still loose, picked up, bounced wide. Holy smokes. Steve Negley had an open net and just couldn't hit it.
Maybe he picked up the opportunity in front of him and just missed.
They've got plenty of time to get another shot off or 2 to try to tie it up before the end of the first quarter. 7 goals scored by 7 different players in this game.
And they're going to try to keep finding the ball in the Elliott Gross stick. He's just a good, hard competitor. He dodges hard. He's going to try to find the open man. Obviously, threw it out of bounds there, but he's just a guy that you'd want the ball in his stick with 10 seconds left to go in the quarter.
Michigan puts the ball in the stick of Jordan Kirshner. Kirshner gets it picked off. It doesn't really matter. Clock winds down the end of the first quarter. It was a 3-goal run for Michigan to start this quarter. 3 out of 4 goals for BYU to make it a 1-goal game when we go to break. Michigan leads, but only by 1.
The game of lacrosse is growing. And with it, a league to support the passion. Nine conferences, 2 divisions, and nearly 200 institutions. A league of truly national scope, from California to Carolina. An association of devotion, of exhilaration, and of passion. This is the MCLA, and these are its faces.
Back at Texas Stadium, Brigham Young climbing back into this game. Michigan out to a 3-0 lead. They lead 4-3 as we start the second quarter. A little yawn from the fans there from Michigan, but they shouldn't yawn for long because, John, the incredible part was 3 goals in the last 4 minutes of that first quarter. So that really shows the strength of the offense for BYU. John Galvin, the coach of University of Colorado, with me as we bring you quarter number 2 of the semifinal matchup.
I mean, again, both teams have the ability to score goals, and they're both going to pressure you on rides. They're both going to pressure you between the boxes, try to create turnovers, and really try to create some of that unsettled play.
We talked about the close quarterfinal where Georgia came up with 8 goals against Michigan. Georgia, a number 9 seed, and you say primarily on the strength of their goalie.
Their goalie just played tremendous. A lot of great saves, and then Georgia's offense really was able to run and gun with Michigan and keep it up. And they actually hurt Michigan quite a bit on their 10-man ride, so they're able to figure it out, get the ball downfield, and it looks like Michigan almost got caught on that a little earlier in the first quarter, but they didn't.
Jordan Kirshner a moment ago took a shot, number 33 for Michigan in the yellow, and it bounced off the pipe. So right away they challenged Christian Kukumoto, and there's Jason Lamb on the sideline. They've, of course, switched ends at quarter, and here comes Michigan going toward their new offensive end. Kikumoto locked in there, number 8 in the goal for BYU. Michigan got 3 goals in the first 7 minutes of the first quarter, and then only 1 after that. So things kind of calmed down, and this game has been a little bit of a tug of war after that little run by BYU. So this second quarter will do a lot to really claim how this game's going to go.
I think both defenses are also kind of getting the feel, and maybe some of their matchups weren't quite right.
Great move inside, and you talked about it, and we profiled him. Trevor Yealy is so unbelievable. Parked on the crease, and why would you ever leave this guy? They get him the ball, he makes a nice fake high, and then just dishes it low, a little dip and dunk. Take a look at it.
Again, he's finding space. It seemed like that was an ill-advised slide by number 37 to come upfield and leave Yealy alone in the crease like that. That was a simple adjacent pass, and Yealy's a great finisher inside.
Sometimes these great finishers don't require any slides off them. It's better to go ahead and let the goalie see the outside shot than that tremendous finisher in your face. But Yealy gets his 2nd goal of the game, and now a 2-goal lead for Michigan. Michigan clearing the ball. They finally do get it upfield, and Bobby Morales, the defensive midfielder, a lot of checks from the aggressive BYU defense, put the ball back on the turf. Riley Kearns picks it up, coming up from the attack end. They get it back down, and they settle it with Kevin Zorovich behind the goal. Jordan Kirshner still on the field. He's a defensive midi primarily, and now he's coming off.
Again, it looks like Michigan's second line's about to get an early run in the second quarter.
Talk about the matchup of these two teams earlier in the season, John. It did a lot to sort of establish Michigan being the #1 team.
Right, BYU came into the season ranked #1. Actually lost a close one to Chapman, and was actually still placed at #1 after their early season loss to Chapman, and then played Michigan. And after the Michigan game, Michigan retained the #1 seeding and the #1 ranking for the whole year and through the playoffs. So.
And haven't lost since, 14-0. Whistle call, a lot of stop play. This is so far.
No, we can't, Tom. We're going this way.
Okay, a little bit of an infraction there, but this has been a little bit of a stop-start kind of game. It hasn't had a flow to it yet. Would you agree?
I would agree. And I think again, both teams ride extremely aggressively, and they're going to push you between the lines. So it's going to be.
So the ball's been on the turf much more than it might normally be.
Right. And they both want to push and transition, hopefully, and if they can, they're going to try to get their opportunities. But sometimes it can be a little bit of a sloppy play. And talking to some of the Michigan assistants, I think some of this, they would rather have BYU be on a little bit more of the sloppy side than being able to hit passes all over the place.
Jake Farron, number 44, looks for his running mate Elliot Groh. There he is. We talked about how Sensational he is, but look at the defensive checks. Unbelievable by Michigan's Bobby Morales, the captain, senior captain, just worked him over and got the ball on the turf.
They gotta have a lot. They have a lot of confidence in Morales. Even though throughout the whole year they've had a, he's almost an extra long stick on the field. Very aggressive, great athlete, and he's able to D up Ellie Groh, who's BYU's best player and offensive player of the year in the RMLC.
Well, you saw a little of the intensity in that little one-on-one, and that's why this game has been really not into a good flow, because there's a lot of battles defensively that are keeping the ball on the turf. Beautiful save by Kikumoto. And again, look at the defensive checks, the riding, and the intense pressure to get the ball back on this end of the field.
And a little bit of a sloppy play there by, I think it was Matheson, number 34 for BYU. That was a great save by Kikumoto, and he tried to outlet the ball, and it was put back on the ground. But again, Michigan's pressure on their ride was definitely significant.
Riley Kearns gets it over to Zorovich, and he will look for help. Doesn't find it, so he goes back to Riley Kearns. Kearns has his defenseman kind of trapped up front, but now he's got a little bit of company. They try to squeeze it out front. Kikumoto comes over and gets possession, but now the hard part. Can they clear the ball? Michigan applying intense pressure. BYU gets it up with a clean run by Mikael Walker. BYU now with one of their only offensive sets in the last 4 minutes. It's been a lot of fighting for possession in the middle of the field. They'll change players, look to get their offensive stars out there so they can match up better to this huge defense, including the goalie. This defense is 6'3 plus in most instances. BYU right-handed shot, easy save there by Graham Townsend. Tough shot for a right-hander against a left-hander with that little angle in front of him. Good transition, head down, finishing shot, Yealy. Holy smokes, why did they leave Yealy? They did it twice in a row. Sliding from him is almost sure death. Trevor Yealy gets his third goal of the game, his third in a row, as a matter of fact. The last 2 times they slid off him and paid the price.
Well, Peter Krause makes a great play here, a great roll. Actually, a little no-look pass, and finds Yealy on the backside. And the BYU defenseman tried to step up and actually lay a pretty big hit, but Krause was able to find, feel the pressure, roll off, and then find Yealy backside. And that's almost a guaranteed goal. I think he's shooting over 49%, and that's a great shooting percentage.
The last 9 minutes, it's Trevor Yealy 3, BYU 1. Michigan with another face-off and another control. BYU showing some pressure of their own. Tremendous athletic ability by Tyler Sabey.
I think BYU is dropping 2 short sticks down to help clear the ball against a very good pressure ride by Michigan. Not in a 10-man, but they're in a good solid pressure ride, and the pole comes over.
And the pass with pressure gives it right back to Michigan, so it worked again. Jason Lamb knows exactly what they're going to do. They've practiced against it. They've seen it so much, but yet it's so effective, it still gives you problems. I know it gave you problems when you played this team.
It did. It did. It definitely, the 10-man, switching off from a 10-man to pressure, it definitely gave us some serious problems on the ride and getting the ball down to our offensive side. So.
Yeah, the odd thing is, as a coach, you feel like, man, we had so many opportunities. If I can only get that one more pass, I'm going to get an easy shot if they're in a 10-man ride. But it just is hard to get against the good coordinated effort of a fine team. So back to the offensive end. Michigan so successful that they've got 9 all-conference players on their team, and that's probably more than any other team in the MCLA representing their conference. So talent loaded, as you might imagine, being 14-0 and a #1 seed. Average about 47 shots per game.
Especially 9 first-team all-conference.
Amazing.
It's just, Michigan definitely has the athletes and has the ability really do some good stuff.
They're back on offense after the timeout. Let's see if they come up with some kind of scheme to get a shot on. They try to get to Yealy, but couldn't. The far side shot almost finds money. Jamison Goldberg got the ball after Yealy couldn't collect it, so there's a little more pressure on Yealy that time. Let's see if they refuse to leave him alone. He's got a short stick on him now, but they do slide around and rotate, so I'd be tempted to go boxing one on that kid, you know? Take him out of the game.
Absolutely. It looks like BYU is running a little bit of their zone package that they have.
Potential injury over here, obviously in distress, Svet Tinchev.
And I believe Svet also had an ankle injury before he came out to the tournament. I know they're also missing number 45, Josh Ian. So Michigan does have a couple injuries too.
Right there, we saw exactly what the coach said not to do in the break. He said he wants you to pick up the balls cleanly, don't drop the ball, not today, not in the semifinal of the MCLA championships. Pressure, 2 Michigan players on 1 BYU player. If you can break it, you can get an opportunity, and they do. Steve Nagley brought it in, but the defense rotates back and corrects and really balances up so beautifully. It's hard to find the open guy, and you've experienced that as a coach against them.
Yeah, Michigan plays a great, solid, fundamentally sound defense, and you know, BYU looks a little bit sloppy. They're trying to get themselves settled up, but you know, Michigan's they're a tough team to beat defensively.
Well, they
2-1, tactical, offside, 30 seconds.
All right, well, there's your call, offsides. 30 seconds on Michigan. Michigan got off to the 3-goal lead. 3 different players scored in the first 7 minutes. Then BYU came back, scoring 3 of the next 4 to end the quarter at a 4-3, down by 1. But Yealy, by himself, has expanded the lead, extended it to a 6-3 position. But here's an extra man opportunity, 6 against 5, a little hidden ball trick. BYU trying to get a good shot, and ooh, can't get it cleanly across the field. The defense really making it tough to make clean, crisp passes. Good shot down low. And Graham Towson just pushes it away. But the problem with this is Zach Eliachar, the guy up in the middle, number 30. He's the one that really makes it tough to get it through the middle of that defense. Right there. He just picked it off.
Great pickoff.
So tremendous defensive effort by him. And Eliachar just makes it hard to hit those passing lanes. And when you have a great pressure defense, you really want to skip a guy to get to the backside of the defense. Oh, in shot. Close into him the crease. It's Yealy again, and they get him the ball right outside of Christian Kikumoto, and it's money. It's over. And that is his not only 4th goal, but his 4th goal in a row. Take a look at that. Wide open. How can he be wide open? Explain that to me, Coach. And there are the fans for the Brigham Young University squad led by Jason Lamb. They've got a lot of appearances, maybe as many as anybody in these championships. They rarely miss a year. If they've missed any, I don't think they have. 97, they've been here every year. They've won it 4 times, or 3 times.
3 times, I believe.
3 times they've won it. They've been a finalist again in 98 and have been here every year since 97. So
BYU is just they're a perennial powerhouse. I mean, every year they're a team that's, you always have to bring your best game whenever you play BYU.
Ball on the turf again. Ground ball's becoming huge. And Michigan picks it up with Riley Kearns. Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Brother Rice was the program he played for, and they are excellent. Peter Krause gets the ball knocked out. Michigan trying to find Mark Hammett some help. And they finally do by getting the ball down low. Peter Krause will start up top. Defense looking like they're getting a little tired. Defense is chasing a lot on both ends of the field. So I wonder if they'll hold up. I tell you, this defense on both ends is really aggressive. trying to kick it in close. They really almost had an open Peter Vasher.
A strong wrap on Michigan. Yep. It's good aggressive plays.
Finally, the ball hit down. BYU showing that they are just as aggressive as Michigan. But now they got to pick it up. Kicked out of bounds by Brigham Young's Paul Saby. Their goal scored by Manning, Negley, and then Mikael Walker.
This is BYU's first unit out there with Negley, Farron, and Elliot Groh.
Groh was the guy that really started causing problems early on. He got some good looks, some good shots, some good feeds. See if they can get him sprung free as BYU takes the ball behind, and they're going to start this one with Jake Farron. Farron kicks it up top. Ooh, a little fake inside. Beautiful feed into Mark Manning. And Manning from Justin Heyer gets them another goal. Good job.
That was great ball movement by BYU. Michigan designated a slide. One guy to slide towards the ball, and Michigan just didn't recover fast enough inside. And BYU, if you give them the opportunities to really move the ball around, and you find someone alone inside, they're going to hurt you.
Great job by BYU to mimic the Yealy efforts on the other end. Get that easy shot down low.
A good face-off won by BYU, but a turnover.
Michigan now with 3:48 left, second quarter. Comfortable 3-goal lead on the strength of 4 straight goals by Trevor Yealy.
Michigan's second unit out again. They're causing just as much trouble, too.
Adam Andre. I'm sorry, playing defense. That was Chris West. And they'll start the ball up top with Svet Tintchev. Now, he had a hurt ankle. We saw on the sideline. He's moving pretty well.
He could have just rolled it on that turf. I know we talked about it in the Chapman, Arizona State game, about some of the spots on the turf.
Good check by BYU. And back to Michigan. Look how easily they just hunt down the ground balls. And there have been a lot of ground balls. More than most games. You got a big stat there. Timeout call by John Paul and the University of Michigan. They've got 2:30 left in this half. They've got that 3-goal lead. And I think he wants to make sure they get what they want out of this last possession. So that was the message from Jason Lamb, very animated on the sideline, trying to get his team to get away and effectively away from the pressure of Michigan. Michigan, on the other hand, trying to get something out of this last 2 minutes. Mark Hammett will start with the ball. Doesn't give his teammate, ooh, just pulled down. Holy smokes. Britton Cohn just yanks him down. No flag, and then a goal. Oh, man, they do have a flag. Delayed call. But meanwhile, Michigan just rips it in from the outside. Kevin Zorovich gets his second goal of the game. He opened up the scoring about 54 seconds into this game, and this is his second one, while some of the attention, including mine, was on the player that was yanked down by his shoulder pads. But that's a critical goal and shows that the coaching strength is pretty tough. You take the timeout, you call some sort of set, some sort of scheme, and it ends up in a goal. That's pretty effective.
Right, especially with about 2 minutes left in the quarter. That's a big goal. And Zorovich was able to find that near side. Kikemoto kind of left that post just a bit.
And they continue to control the face-offs. Michigan in the yellow trying to get free. Breaking Politz. Finally they get it back to their finisher, Trevor Yealy, as he comes out just to calm things down a little bit. Ball got away from that shot by Kevin Zorovich. Pretty much owned by Michigan. They've gotten 4 goals to 1 by BYU. And here they come again. Big shot, but bounced off a defenseman. Yealy gets another shot, but they save their goalie Kikumoto by just having it bounce off one of the defensemen that are really playing tough between the shooter and the goalie.
That was a great little give and go between Riley Cairns and Trevor Yealy. Got the one guy to come to you, and I gave it right back to Trevor Yealy. And almost a very good scoring opportunity.
Ball goes out of bounds, attempting to find Yealy or somebody behind him.
It does look like Graham Townsend is actually out and possibly covering an attackman, because a long pull, a close defenseman is now pushed up by the midfield line.
BYU goes far side with his clearing pass, one side to the other, as the ride is Trevor Yealy trying to play 2. Yealy working on the sideline, effectively pushes the ball into his other end and then into one of his sticks, and then picked off by Brigham Young. Great job by BYU's Justin Heyer to get that ball.
I don't believe Brigham Young has a timeout, so they're going to have to run whatever Jason said after they got the ball down was going to be putting them into an offensive set.
They've got plenty of time, 44 seconds. They start behind with Mark Manning. He's already got 2 goals on the day. 5'10", 160 pounds, a freshman.
Looks like Michigan also dropped into a zone.
Manning tried to roll inside, and the Arm Utah attackman just couldn't quite finish the deal. The slides for Michigan are so intense and so effective. They get the ball back. So in the span of a minute and 20, we've seen one team lose it twice. They had a chance to get a shot, didn't, and now it's back to Michigan for this shot. And it just goes wide. Time winds out, but it's been an all Michigan quarter as Trevor Yealy got 3 goals to start it out. Kevin Zorvich gets his second. Mark Manning, the only goal for BYU, and that sets up an 8-4 halftime score. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we've got halftime activities coming up right here from Texas Stadium. It's the MCLA Semifinals, the 2008 championships from Texas Stadium. Michigan leading 8-4.
At Black's World, we have all the gear all the time. Sticks, gloves, pads, clothes, jerseys, gifts, custom teamwear, and more. With the best selection of Brine, Warrior, STX, and Under Armour. Visit us online or check out one of our 7 locations in Bel Air, Towson, and Annapolis, Maryland, Burke, Virginia, Denver, Colorado, and now in Atlanta, Georgia.
It's halftime at Texas Stadium. 8-4 Michigan leads. We are pleased to have the coach of Michigan right now, John Paul. And John Paul, things went pretty good. Start off with a 3-0 roll, and then second quarter did the same thing.
Yeah, thanks, Leaf. You know, we live and die by our ride, and it's working for us today.
Good pressure on both ends of the fields. It seems like BYU is trying to match you with that. This game has not had a real good flow to it because of the effectiveness of each team's ride.
Yeah, we really, and it's part of our game plan when we played them in March too, is we would prefer kind of a sloppy up and down game with these guys. If we can keep the ball on the ground and keep the game going back and forth, we feel like we can out-athlete them a little bit.
Do you anticipate any movement by his side? I mean, you like what you're doing, obviously, but are you sitting now thinking, okay, what's he going to do that I have to get ready for?
Yeah, you know, I'm sure they're going to make some adjustments and try and beat this ride. I'm sure they're going to make some adjustments to try and cover up Yealy on the crease, but you know, I think what we're doing doesn't need to change a whole lot.
You got the horses, you got the undefeated season. Great first half. Good luck second half, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Leaf.
That's John Paul, coach of Michigan, as we get set to continue with our halftime here. 8-4. He leads by 4 on the strength of Trevor Yealy's 4. We'll be back with more and Jason Lamb looking to come back from 4 goals down.
At Black's World, we have all the gear all the time. Sticks, gloves, pads, clothes, jerseys, gifts, custom teamwear, and more. With the best selection of Brian, Warrior, STX, and Under Armour. Visit us online or check out one of our 7 locations in Bel Air, Towson, and Annapolis, Maryland, Burke, Virginia, Denver, Colorado, and now in Atlanta, Georgia.
8-4 the score as we get set for the second half. Lee Felsmo, John Galvin with me, and we are at Texas Stadium. No football today, just the MCLA semifinal action as we get set to pick one team that will advance from here and go on to play the Chapman Panthers. BYU brings the ball down very quickly off that faceoff. If you look at the faceoff stats, John, it's amazing because in the semifinal, BYU's faceoff man, Neil Watterson, was sensational. He had a really good quarterfinal game, 59% on the season. And I thought he was just really good against Simon Fraser in getting a lot of faceoffs to keep them to where they could win that close game by a goal. But then you go over to Michigan, and they got a 74%er who's really giving them a tough time, and not only that, but dominating.
Right. Brandon Colts is just, I mean, throughout the year, I know he's been one of the most dominating faceoff guys probably in the league. And so, Watterson's been having great success throughout the year and through the league, but, going against probably the best faceoff guy in the country right now.
Michigan with a push call there. Peter Krause was coming down, trying to get the feed or the shot. They're giving the push call against Patrick Matheson right there.
Looks like Matheson's got a push from the back. Matheson's also a 6'6", 225-pound defensive midi for BYU. So he's a pretty big guy against Peter Krause, who's a 5'11", 185.
So just what they needed, a 4-goal lead and an extra man situation to start the fourth quarter, or the third quarter, I'm sorry.
Got a big difference between a 9-4 game or an 8-5 game. So.
In close. Oh, another almost off the crease. Michigan doing a great job of getting it down, this time to Kevin Zorovich. There's a lot of the focus is on number 16. Number 9 crept around from the backside. Still extra. Here comes the man to make it an even situation. So now everybody at even strength. It's 6-on-6. So the shot, they got the shot. Oh, and here's another one. Hard shot, even strength, but they still were not set. And Zorovich gets that goal, just putting it under the legs of Kikumoto. Now a 5-goal lead, 9-4.
There's good patience on the man up here. And Riley Kearns is able just to find a low-to-low shot. Got a lot of heat on that, and Kikumoto just couldn't get down to it.
That was about 10 seconds or so after, right. At least 10 seconds after the EMO was over, except they just couldn't get back to their balanced defense and pick up the men properly. So good job by Michigan to take advantage of that unsettled situation. Good possession for BYU. It's starting to get a little bit dire here. Brigham Young down by 5 against the undefeated Michigan Wolverines. Working the ball behind, very, very tough defensively. Michigan just hammering him. James Payer. BYU trying to find a rhythm offensively. They'll start behind now with Steve Negley. He's working back and forth with Elliot Groh. We talked about how important Groh is to this team, and the fact that with this tournament he's a little bit dinged up, maybe not 100%. Shot left hand off the pipe. That one almost went in. Great shot by Justin Heyer. Ball still loose as both teams keep it pushing on the ground with their great defense. So it'll be a penalty against Michigan. This time it looks like they'll go off and give Brigham Young a chance for an extra man play. Take a look at this action. Push right there. That could have been the call.
The push, and I think it was a loose ball situation with the flag down that created another foul. So now the BYU is up 2 men. It'll be a 6-on-4 situation.
3-1, technical, push, 30 seconds.
All right, so you got the technical call, push, the 30 seconds. And James Payer. Important, coach, for them to get this one a good hard shot on, at least on Cage. Hopefully a goal, but you really got to get a good shot right there. Great save, and you talk about cutting the angle, does a nice job, but there's a follow-up. Beautiful job of Negley just getting that loose ball and putting it 5-hole on the big tall goalie. That goalie is tall. Graham Townsend, 6'4", made the big save playing the high arc, and then the rebound gets him.
And Negley just picks up the rebound, pushes it down to Justin Heyer, goes low to high. Really didn't make Townsend move all that much, but then Negley kind of follows up from his first pass and is able to find a hole. So
he, along with Manning, 2 goals each, and they still are 4 goals down to the Michigan team at this point. A lot of time left, plenty of time, as they've answered the Michigan score, each team scoring once in this 3rd quarter. Great ability for Michigan to keep on sides on that pickup by their defense. They are so active with their poles. The long stick defenders. I tell you, when you put your good athletes down there, they just can dominate a game.
Great heads-up play by Peter Vasher to get on sides and able to retain possession for Michigan after Brandon Colts lost it in the corner.
Michigan double team by Brigham Young. BYU gets an extra man down there on defense and almost gives Michigan an open net. Riley Kearns came in here with nobody on him. The slide came just in time to push him away. But the aggressive double team was beaten by Michigan's ability to get the ball out. Nice cut down the middle. Oh, they couldn't quite collect it. Bobby Morales had it in stick and dropped it.
BYU got caught in a substitution.
Michigan with the ball. Svet Chinchev out there, number 44, really nursing that ankle along. And Michigan just keeping the ball down here on sheer hustle on 2 different chances. When the ball was down, BYU just didn't get the ball up to their offensive end of the field because of the great ride.
A good hard, aggressive ride, the 2nd and 3rd chance opportunity. That can definitely hurt a team, especially when you're on a comeback.
You heard Coach John Paul talk about the ride and how much pride they have in it. It's a benchmark, a trademark, a character point of this team that they rally around. A little thrill for all these teams here in the semifinals, and then of course in the finals, playing at Texas Stadium on the Cowboys field. It's like playing in a museum. BYU with another set. They've had a tough time getting good shots. They got a nice follow-up by Negley last time down here after the save by Townsend. Let's see what happens having a tough time getting it into the interior where the easy shots come from. Credit the defense of Michigan. There you go. Now they do, and an easy shot.
Great ball movement again by BYU.
Josh Alston parked down with the same number as the feared Trevor Yealy. So 16 on the blue this time, finishing off the crease. Shows you how easy it is when you get that ball down low for a finishing shot.
It's a great look by Justin Heyer to find Austin inside. And it's a great little hitch. Austin was alone in the crease and just was able to bury it.
Josh Austin gets his first goal of this game, 6th goal for the team. Back to within 3.
And a good face-off win by BYU. And another turnover by BYU on the clear.
Incredible pressure by Michigan anywhere on the field. Good pickup by Riley Kearns. BYU a little more conservative defensively, not stretching out as much as Michigan. Easy save there by Christian Kikumoto. The senior looking for help. This is where it's been getting tough clearing the ball. And Michigan will just collapse and check the ball right out of his stick. Kicks it with no stick in his hand. That's an infraction. Probably out of frustration. It's been a tough day for Neil Watterson. Watterson trying to get the ball clear. 2 players come down and just hatchet the stick out of his hands.
It's a good hard ride by Bobby Morales from Michigan.
All these teams had the day off. These teams had the day off yesterday, which that was odd. We talk about the strain of the 4 games in so many days or whatever, but yesterday was a day off. So they got to rest up a little bit for these semifinal matchups, and then we'll go right into, in real time, the finals on the following day.
It's a long tournament for some of these teams, especially teams that make the finals. Fundamentals really come into a key factor.
2 many men, technical, 30 seconds.
So Patrick Matheson gets called for illegal procedure, the 6'6" freshman midi. Causes his team to go down for 30 seconds. Michigan getting a lot of pressure. What are you saying there, Coach? A lot of what?
Well, BYU is pressuring quite a bit on Michigan on this man up. They're trying to maybe cause a turnover.
And they tried to squeeze that one into Trevor Yealy. But let's focus on that a little bit. They seem to be keeping him quiet, at least so far. Let's want to try to pick up if they have any defensive scheme change against Trevor Yealy, number 16 on Michigan's team. BYU again trying to clear the ball, and again the ball is just tomahawked out of their hands. Failure to advance. Gives the ball back. Take a look at this. The double team 2 times in a row.
Second BYU player stick to get out of his hands.
Team's an even strength though. The extra man situation is gone, and it's going to be Michigan 6-on-6 trying to get their 10th goal. Only 1 goal in this quarter. Michigan in the yellow on the far side. Mark Hammett. He'll have possession. He's a captain.
Looks like Murphy Smith, a player that was injured actually in our game, is back out there. He's matched up on Peter Krause right now. Oh, no, Mark Hammett, excuse me.
Good ball movement by Michigan as they take it around and then kick it out front. Open, left-handed shot goes just wide. That was there for the taking. Peter Vasher just couldn't get it on goal. And they try to find Vasher in the wing, and here comes a potential clearing opportunity. Britton Cone gets absolutely nailed by Mark Hammett. Cohen has to leave the field. And he's not waiting for a whistle. He's saying, I got to go take a break.
Got a good aggressive ride by Michigan. You know, you heard John Paul. They live and die by their ride, and Mark Hammett just, you know, a good aggressive play up at the midfield line.
I'll tell you, Britton Cohen might have lost a tooth on that one. He got hammered.
Just an unforced turnover.
Britton Cohen trying for a loose ball, and then boom, just gets leveled by Mark Hammett, and then he just ran off the field. It didn't matter. He was that stunned that he had to get off the field, and even though his team was down a man to his left. So they weather that storm, still 9-6, still down by only 3. They've scored the last 2, Brigham Young has, but the sloppy game continues with the intense riding. Ball goes to Michigan. Has the tempo of a women's lacrosse game, and I say that only because the women's game has an incredible amount of whistles. Yeah, that's by rules. This is by hustle. Just the fact that these players are contesting every clear, contesting every ground ball, and then it gets pushed out of bounds. Or
definitely not as much scoring as the semifinal with Chapman and Arizona State, but we kind of figured this as we were coming into this game. 2 very aggressive teams, probably hopefully the hustle between the lines and create turnovers both ways.
Ball thrown out of bounds by Michigan, and Brigham Young will get it. Now the trick is, can they get the ball up? You see John Paul on the sideline. Kikumoto brings it up, looking for help, pushes it down to his attack, and by skipping the midfield, and they try to squeeze it into a cutting player. They had Negley coming down and lose the ball that quickly. I like the effort, though. I like the thought. Negley was coming down in transition with some speed. They tried to just slide the ball into him. Justin Heyer said, I got a shot for a chance for a big play. Meanwhile, Michigan, just like that, takes it on their own to get a goal, and it's Kevin Zorvich getting a hat trick on the day.
And Kevin Zorvich, a great individual effort here, just running past his defenseman and finding the back of the net. And, it's a tough, aggressive play, and basically it was kind of a will to score a goal.
So here we go back to another face-off, 10-6. BYU only 1 for 8 in clearing in the second half, and that's a great stat to tell you why they're struggling to get quality shots.
Right, that clearing stat is absolutely pertinent to them not getting the possessions and not getting the opportunities to score goals. So clearings have been a big factor, and they got to be able to clean it up and get the ball down to their offense.
Good defensive check there by Jason Worley. Michigan rotates some players in, takes a shot. They don't wait for much to settle down. They just let it go, and that was David Rogers taking a shot. David Rogers runs on that second unit with Jamison Goldberg, number 3, and Svet Tinchev, number 44. You heard Jason Lamb on the sideline talk about the time. Very patient here Michigan is with that lead of theirs, 4 goals, but BYU just wants to tighten up on this end of the field and get themselves some opportunity. The big thing in the second half, you have to admit there, John, is that with the clearing stat we just had, they have not had that many quality shots.
No, they definitely have not.
They've gotten 2 when they've had it up there, but they just haven't had it up there that much. Why do you think Trevor Yealy is out of the game? Do you think they just want to rotate into Doug Bell and Wes McGowan?
I think they're trying to rotate in Wes McGowan, give Yealy a little bit of a break, and save him up for maybe the last minute 30 or so of the third quarter, and then hopefully finish out the game.
This team has got athletes that are not only active but big.
He's also got a great matchup too. He's playing against Justin Heyer, a 6'2", 195-pound junior. So Justin's a great player and Freed's been matching up with him all day. I think Heyer's been limited to about 1 or 2 shots today.
So BYU with one of their select possessions here in this third quarter. They got the 2 goals, one from Negley and one from Josh Austin. Another left-handed shot, but an easy stop by Graham Townsend, the lefty, right to his stick on the stick side. And the ball's going to roll out of bounds, go back to BYU, but it's on the Michigan side of the field. Let's see if they can get it upfield. It's been the challenge all day.
BYU's got to get the ball upfield. They got to start pushing some possessions a little bit.
Great hustle by BYU to get the ball up cleanly, and look at the run by Grant Cotterell. Now he's going to come off the field, but he did a nice job of just clearing that ball up, but using some tremendous speed, and maybe that was the plan.
It's a very fast midi.
So BYU again setting up, right-handed shot, and it goes high. Good job by them just to get Jake Farron in a spot where he could extend his arms and just let that baby rip.
36, offsides, technical 30 seconds. Offsides, technical 30.
So technical for offsides goes against Michigan. They still hold that 4-goal lead that they came into the second half with. Each team has scored twice since the halftime. It came in 8-4, now 10-6. A chance for BYU to eat into a little bit. There's a comfort level around 3 goals. John, would you agree with that? When you get to be 4 and more, you feel like you're kind of, the game's slipping away. When you're 3 and in, you feel like you're still in the game.
Right. It's that 4-goal. Well, and BYU, that's a great shot by Farron.
Good job on the right-hander, Jake Farron on the right side, and the 6'1" midi just lights it up.
Yeah, if BYU gets those opportunities, they can definitely put the ball in the back of the net. It's a great, about 10 yards out, and Farron's able to bury the shot high on Townsend.
Well-timed shot. Let's see what they can do on the face-off. This has been a dogfight, and now BYU putting a defensive stick out there, so they kind of gave up the dream of Neil Watterson winning these battles, and they put a long stick out there. This time, Britton Cone. Maybe a chance for him to pan back to that big hit.
That's a good clear by BYU.
Chance for a shot goes far side, and they will slow it down.
You're getting to that 3-goal comfort zone, what you said, or 3 or 4 goals, and lacrosse is a funny game. There's a lot of momentum to it. 1 goal can spark plug you. There's still a lot of time left in this game for both teams.
Critical here, though, 3 goals separate them, which is not bad. We talked about the 3 goals, 4-goal difference. Feel like you're in the game a little bit. They have possession. They can make it a 2-goal game. Wouldn't that be great for them if they could go ahead and advance the cushion from 4 to 2? It was a 4-goal lead for Michigan. They get cut it to 2 if they get one here. Big difference.
Looks like Michigan's a little bit of a gimmick defense with 1 slider getting ready to go. Good recovery.
Plenty of time to set up. Good quality possession. They know if they lose the ball, it'll probably get to the other end pretty quickly. Oh, almost into the hands of the shooter. They want to let it go. That's Elliot Groh.
You got a great hitch dodge that brings him back up to that left side. Almost like a Canadian box hitch that brings him into that strong hand, that strong shooting area.
Good defensive check, though, kept him from getting his hands free on that one. Here it comes again. Left-handed shot, and it's deflected by Townsend. He just got a piece of it, and it's backed up by Michigan. Jordan Kirshner chases it back to the end line, and it'll go to Michigan. Nice shot. They got the shot they wanted, John.
Right. And Justin Heyer looked actually a little surprised that he actually lost that battle for the end line, but You know, that was a good hustle play by Michigan, and they're bringing the ball back up with about 25 seconds left.
And enough time to get a shot. Ball loose, though. Either team can get a shot here, and here comes Brigham Young. Good ride on their own. Jason Worley comes inside, extended hands. Oh, that was a chance. Can't believe the trigger wasn't pulled there. Down to 7 seconds. They had a shot right in front of Townsend and turned it away. And the quarter will wind down. Very bizarre. Mark Manning came down, one of their best shooters. He has 2 goals on the day and does not shoot with 10 seconds left. That's the quarter ending. It'll be a 10-7 final score at the end of 3. We've got 1 more quarter left. Brigham Young's got to make up 3. They'll have 15 minutes to do it. Stay with us.
At Black's World, we have all the gear all the time. Sticks, gloves, pads, clothes, jerseys, gifts, custom teamwear, and more. With the best selection of Brian, Warrior, STX, and Under Armour. Visit us online or check out one of our 7 locations in Bel Air, Towson, and Annapolis, Maryland, Burke, Virginia, Denver, Colorado, and now in Atlanta, Georgia.
Ten to 7 the score as we get ready to start the 4th quarter. There is a score by quarters, 4-3. The 4-1 run in the 2nd quarter was driven by Trevor Yealy. He scored the 5th, 6th, and 7th goal to make it a 7-3 game, and that's really the separation they enjoy right now. Yealy has not been a factor in the 2nd half, and John, you were talking about him not being on the field, maybe being saved for the 4th quarter, and we see him back out there now.
Yeah, he's back out there now, but it seemed like the last about 3 or 4 minutes of that 3rd quarter, he was definitely out, and maybe giving him a little bit of a break. But now for this final run in the 4th quarter, he's definitely going to be out there. A guy that, you know, had a tremendous amount of success against this BYU defense.
Push call going against BYU. Manning can't believe it because number 2 Manning was shoved all over the place, including into the crease. Michigan very intense on both ends of the field. They contest everything.
And BYU is really pressuring on their right as well.
Great clear by Zach Eliachar. Eliachar really controls that. It's all conference and he's on their man down. He really controls that end of the field.
Right, Eliachar was also the CCLA Defensive Player of the Year too. So
talked about 3 of them being all conference, which is sort of unheard of. Again, the shot, this time a goal. Great job for Michigan to come down with Mark Hammett. Hammett just goes up with the left hand. Beautiful over the shoulder shot. Perfect fundamentals on that, really, coming down hard, and he sticks it to make it 11-7.
That was a lefty alley dodge. It almost kind of mimics exactly what he did on his first goal of the game with a righty alley dodge, but same type of placement, that far corner, and just a great hard dodge by Mark Hammett.
So the number 1 seed against the number 4 seed right now holding true as they lead by 4 against BYU. Undefeated coming into this. The winner going on to face the Chapman Panthers in the final game, the championship for the MCLA in 2008. BYU getting a little bit desperate. And a nice shot in close. That one had a chance by Jason Wernley.
This is a good, hard, aggressive move to the goal. They're definitely down a little bit. And then, the possibility of getting one on some transition was probably a good opportunity for BYU.
Yeah, we got a penalty on that play. Slash was called. So the illegal check, or slash, the nasty check, gives them another extra man opportunity. I'm not sure the numbers of extra man, but it hasn't been much of a factor in this game, I don't think.
No, definitely not, especially BYU coming in with such impressive numbers throughout the tournament and through the season. You'd think that Michigan would want to limit their extra man opportunities.
And there again, the aggressive defense of Michigan just proving to be too much. And here they go off and running. This is Jim Petoskey. Petoskey comes in, dishes it off to Kevin Zorovich. Riley Kearns controlling the ball. And Brigham Young doing a good job themselves. Taylor Redd just kind of applying his own pressure down here. Here's a double team. They have the extra man, so they double team, trying to get the ball back, and they do. Now, was that a push call? Some sort of call gave it back to Michigan.
I believe it was a loose ball push kind of in the corner.
So with all that effort, Michigan gets the ball back. Final quarter in the semifinal matchup. Winner advances to the finals, of course, right here at Texas Stadium. They'll have about 24 hours to rest. BYU still with the extra man. You can see why they're doubling, trying to get it back. It's a little bit of a dangerous thing. Some teams don't even bother trying it, because if your team is slick offensively, you might end up taking that to your advantage.
And Michigan just created an opportunity just off of that. The double team got caught behind. The player came released out of the box and then created a possible scoring chance.
But the ball was a little bit high on that shot by Peter Vasher. Now they'll reset with everybody they want into the game. They've changed some personnel. Kevin Zorovich will start things.
Trevor Yaley's back in. And first line midfield is back out too.
Michigan, hard shot, overhand, beautifully done by Mark Hammett again. So you saw the left-handed shot by Hammett, and that's the right-handed fundamentals, and he's a pretty solid player.
And he can go both ways. He really shoots the ball pretty hard. He's definitely a righty shooter from outside, especially from the man-up positions. And he's really coming to be a viable threat as a Dodger as well.
Peter Krause works the ball behind, tries to feed up top, and it's picked off by the defense of BYU, which has been pretty impressive in their own right, but Michigan has just been overwhelming. And there is the reason. The rides are incredible. They get it back, though. Two quick movements by BYU, but the defense continues to just smother them. Every time you think you haven't beat, another yellow jersey shows up.
Right. The ride's really not over until you kind of say it's over, and Michigan seems like they're riding well into their own defensive end.
Ball out of bounds. BYU will get it. Whistles blowing everywhere. Just an errant ball on the field. And they'll reset with under 11 minutes to go and a 4-goal lead. Enough time for BYU to do it, but they'd have to sort of come up with some kind of new energy or scheme or hero.
They definitely, they got the long stick on Elliott Groh. Or even a short stick on him now, but it just seems like they're not getting free. The alleys aren't open for them, and Michigan's definitely playing a very solid defensive game plan right now.
Jake Farron takes it around, and ultimately getting it to Josh Austin, and Josh Austin will set up against maybe the toughest defenseman they have. And this is a tough order. Slide comes, and you just don't get anything inside against this Michigan defense. We saw it happen in the second half, but it doesn't happen very often.
You really got to make sure you get Michigan to slide and try to beat them with some of the roll back and try to find something inside or on the wings. You know, Justin Heyer's also been a bit quiet too. That seemed like again his second or third shot for the game. He's being covered by number 22 Harry Freed, who's also a very good defenseman as well.
So the matchup's critical. They try to get it into the crease. Tried to find Steve Nagley. And a nice backup shot there. So a little more activity. Elliott Grove finally getting a shot. Nagley and Grove, two guys who have put some pressure on this defense today. This is a semifinal matchup. BYU in the 4th seed and Michigan in the 1 seed. Leif Elsmo and John Galvin, who is the coach at the University of Colorado, bringing this action to you. And the winner here goes on to face the Chapman Panthers.
This is a pretty good matchup here with Justin Heyer and Harry Freed. So Heyer's going to try to move on him one-on-one. It's just a very solid defensive and offensive matchup.
Slides always ready to come from Michigan. Ooh, a little bit of room there for Manning. He gets hit in the face, and there's finally the flag comes down. It'll be a delayed call, but it'll be a slash to the head. And another extra man opportunity for Brigham Young, but it hasn't seemed to matter.
Penalties on goal.
Yeah, the last Brigham Young opportunity for extra man was it seemed like an unforced turnover. So again, uncharacteristic of BYU.
Manning there gets checked right in the face. So let's see what they come up with. They have that 1-3-2 set from behind. Josh Alston starts in that one spot. Now he's parked on the crease. They can't get it through. Ooh, almost goes in the goal, but we've seen that countless times. So they try to skip a man and go through that defense, and John, it's just almost impossible to do. The sticks are too good.
And you know, Michigan's also threw a little bit of a gimmick at BYU. They shut off Elliott Grove. And, you know, they have great sticks. They have great composure inside that make them, you know, be able to knock down those passes and really cut off the skip lanes. And it looks like Morales is going to go shut off Nagley. So good scheme by.
So just getting another different look, and you have to adjust to it and set up something different. So it takes time off the penalty as you adjust to it.
And the shutoffs kind of throw some teams off. You know, once you kind of get into it, you know, it opens up some space, but, you know, shutting off different players obviously causes some problems as well.
Art Manning tried to find Justin Heyer on that one and just throws it underneath him out of bounds. It goes to Michigan, so nothing happening easily for Jason Lamb on the sideline there and his team. The pressure just makes it all very, very difficult. Now, when the coach was talking about they'd rather on the sideline, do they ever play a different style than this?
Michigan?
Yes.
No, Michigan can definitely play a very smooth, up-tempo game. You know, probably less turnovers. But, you know, you're trying to get BYU out of their game. You're trying to get BYU out of that transition game and that flow on offense. If you can kind of keep them out of their flow on offense, you know, I think that's kind of part of the game plan. But I think the Michigan coaching staff is really trying to get to is keep them out of that offensive flow.
BYU will get the ball back. Their opportunity clicking away as the clock counts down here in the 4th quarter. Cleary has been a challenge all day. And this time Elliott Grove gets possession, tries to take advantage. Heyer shut off in the corner. Where is the ball? Penalty again.
Looks like Michigan had too many men. I think Jason Lamb was on the sideline up in arms about it.
Well, he should spend this time thinking about another play, maybe. Because they haven't gotten a good shot on the extra man.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. We got offsides. Offsides on goal. Goals, offsides. Give it to the end home. Goal, offsides. Technical. 30 seconds. Give it to the end home. End home.
Again, John Galvin calling the penalty before the referees.
Michigan penalty, 30 seconds.
But this defense has been so solid today. It's really, I think, got Jason Lamb's team a little baffled on this extra man.
Yeah, it looks like, you know, Michigan's running a box and one, shutting off the inside man, kind of rotating with 4 around the outside. And, you know, Morales looks like he's kind of picking and choosing between who he wants to shut off. And again, it's a good defensive scheme. It changes up your extra man opportunities and what sets or plays you want to run out of it.
The old fake hidden ball, they do start a couple of these sets with that same look. Back door trying to get it, and they've never gotten that skip pass to work. I think it's been picked off 4 or 5 times.
Yeah,
good opportunity.
It really looks like Michigan also, you know, scouted BYU really well. You know, they're overcompensating. They're starting to drop themselves down, knowing that skip pass is possibly coming, and that BYU is going to probably look for it. So a good job by the Michigan coaching staff to start picking that out.
And here comes out of the goal Graham Townsend on that clearing play, and Michigan gets a little bit of an unsettled defense in front of them on their offensive end of the field, but they're electing to take a little time off the clock, possess the ball a little bit. And they will work the ball from behind.
Watch Michigan kind of take the air out of the ball here and hopefully kind of kill some clock.
Got a red on defense, getting a little aggressive, saying, I'd like to get the ball back, please. Kevin Zorovich with the ball. And then they spin off to his teammate Peter Krause. They're just going to move it around.
Also, 2 of the first-line BYU offensive middies, Farron and Groh, are stuck on defense. They're good defenders, but also they've been playing on offense too. So look for Michigan to maybe run at these guys just a bit.
Every minute that clicks off here is just huge, and that's why they probably will just possess for a little bit. Looking for a good opportunity.
There's a stalling warning by the referees.
Got to keep it in the box. There's a shot right there by Yearly. First one we've seen in a while. So just when you thought it was safe, they hit him on the crease. And it took another good save by Christian Kikamoto.
A good, hard, aggressive ride by Michigan, and the guy coming out of the box was able to, Martuzowicz was able to come out of the box. Farron didn't see him, and the ball rolls out of bounds. So again, good hustle by the Michigan.
Right here at the back of the box.
Michigan get a fairly easy clear, as Brigham Young's going to have to extend their defense a little bit, will cause a little bit more opportunity probably for Michigan if they want to take advantage of it.
That was a great trail check by Britton Cohn.
Moving pick was the call. It'll go back to Brigham Young. Watch this effort. Tremendous extension, checking down, taking it out, and he's sliding up behind it. Britton Cohn has been taking some licks and applying some licks today.
Great hustle by Britton Cohn to create the turnover and also not give Michigan a good scoring opportunity.
BYU's possession and Michigan in a 10-man ride, so they are not making it easy. Their goalie is out of the goal as they get into a little bit of a 10-man ride and put pressure on and get the ball right back.
You know, the initial pressure on the 10-man ride is exactly what they want. You want the initial pressure to start at the ball, so you can't find the people that are down low and the guys that are open on a 10-man ride. If you can really initiate that pressure, you get second chance opportunities like Michigan has pretty much all game.
Requirements for that are speed, I would imagine.
Speed and good aggressiveness, you know, 2 attributes that are probably one's not coached and one is coached. So
Clock working, of course, in their favor. So Michigan looking for the easy shot as the defensive pressure extends out. They'll work the outside of this perimeter. Yeah, they'll work the inside of that box to its outer limits, and then they'll invite the defensive slide and then try to skip a pass down there low like they've done effectively all day. Kikumoto trying to get this ball up, and he finally does to Elliott Groh. Wow, nice pass across field. And Brigham Young did a nice job of clearing the ball. Can't handle it cleanly. Ball goes out of bounds and off a Brigham Young player. Interesting that they didn't even contest it when it went out of bounds, as if it was a shot or something. It was odd. Nevertheless, here comes Michigan. They've controlled in the aggressive area all night long. I haven't seen a game in a long time where the ball's been on the field as much, and it's all because of the intense pressure applied by both teams.
Right, it's it's the play that Michigan wanted to use. They wanted to use that sloppy play, that real aggressive, hard-nosed lacrosse.
Whistle blows. So timeout called with just moments left, 2 minutes left. John Paul, the coach of Michigan, on his sideline. Referees getting things back in play. Interesting timeout by Jason Lamb. A lot of class on that program, as they have on both programs. And, just finish it strong, finish it with integrity and pride, and that's what they're going to do.
And, both these programs are just, the amount of pride and respect that I have as a coach for both coaching staffs and both these teams. It's always a great honor to play both of these teams.
So they'll just move the ball around as best they can inside that box. Scoring is not an issue unless it's handed to them, and that might be the case. Kikumoto will try to double when he can. He'll come out of the goal. You see him, number 8, chasing around, trying to find somebody to double without being totally behind the play. There he is, picking up a player, allowing other people to double. So no goalie in there now. You can see the net's empty as they double team the ball. That's the effort, but the ball movement is the key here. And Michigan doing a nice job. They call a timeout before they get knocked out.
Good timeout by John Paul.
John Paul or Peter Krause maybe even on the sideline there. Not that it's needed with a 1:30 left and a 4-goal lead. The number 4 seed pretty much did what they were expected to do, played their way up to this game, and then just couldn't quite get the job done against a Michigan team that's pretty loaded this year.
They're a very good team. They're very talented. They have players in all the positions that you need. I mean, from goaltending to face-off to the offense and defense. So, very, very talented team.
Bobby Morales will just throw the ball up against the double team and watch it bounce around. So outside the box, the ball goes to Brigham Young. Makes you wonder why they call the timeout, since they lose the ball 6 seconds later anyway. But it'll be a fun night for the Michigan boys because they have done a tremendous job all year. Look at their averages: 12, 8 goals for, and they're at 11. 6 goals against, and BYU is at 7. So average is holding pretty true. And Michigan gets the loose ball, brings it down the short stick. Bobby Morales doing a good job of running the field and getting it down to Riley Kearns. Timeout called again, or what do we have here? Nope, a penalty. Slash call. And with 45 seconds left.
Goal. 1-3 slash 1. Goal. 1-3 slash.
So Bobby Morales gets called for the penalty. Bobby played at Bloomfield Hills, Brother Rice program in Michigan.
Here we go,
And BYU will try again on their extra man. They've had plenty of them, John, in this half, but they just haven't really taken advantage of these opportunities.
You know, Michigan has also thrown some gimmicks at them. They've thrown pressure at them, shutoffs. But BYU just doesn't look like they're getting their skip lanes through, and Michigan's also shutting those down. So it's been a tough night for them.
Great hustle by Michigan to get the ball on the turf, and it remains on the turf. How about Jim Bertosky? Just a one-man wrecking crew over there. And the Michigan fans and the team ready to celebrate a well-deserved semifinal victory. Culmination of a lot of work. And as James Payer said, they worked hard for this all year, and they really have. One more to go. They'll be 15-0 going into the final game. And the Chapman Panthers and their offense will have a formidable foe in this defense, the best in the MCLA. We'll take a short break, come back with final comments. Michigan takes a 4-goal win over Brigham Young in the semifinal.
At Black's World, we have all the gear all the time. Sticks, gloves, pads, clothes, jerseys, gifts, custom teamwear, and more. With the best selection of Brigham, Warrior, STX, and Under Armour. Visit us online or check out one of our 7 locations in Bel Air, Towson, and Annapolis, Maryland, Burke, Virginia, Denver, Colorado, and now in Atlanta, Georgia.
Back at Texas Stadium, Lee Felsmo and John Galvin wrapping up this semifinal. Michigan just dominant throughout. They got the 3 goals to start the game to get that 3-0 lead, and their defense was just aggressive, John, from the minute the first whistle blew.
They're aggressive, throughout their ride, on 6-on-6, and, really created a lot of, unforced and forced turnovers for BYU.
Let's take a moment to go to our player of the game for this game, and we are selecting Trevor Yealy, our collegelax.us player of the game. And Yealy really put this game into the win column for them with 4 straight goals. The last goal for Michigan in the first quarter, and then the first 3 of the second quarter. And his 4 goals ended up being the difference in the game, 11-7 at the end. And of course, the margin just held throughout. We'll take a short break, come back with final comments from our semifinal. It's Michigan 11, Brigham Young 7. We'll be back to Texas Stadium in just a moment.
The game of lacrosse is growing. And with it, a league to support the passion. Nine conferences, 2 divisions, and nearly 200 institutions. A league of truly national scope, from California to Carolina. an association of devotion, of exhilaration, and of passion. This is the MCLA, and these are its faces.
Welcome back to Texas Stadium. 11-7 is the final in this one. Michigan beats Brigham Young, and Michigan was led with 4 goals by Trevor Yealy, and he is our collegelacks.us player of the game. Trevor, you're on the mic. Talk about the game. You strung those goals together, and I know you're a finisher that has a ton of goals, but talk about the game from your perspective.
That was one hell of a game. I don't know. We came into that. We were fired up. We knew if we played our game, we could beat them, and we were clicking on all cylinders. Everyone was playing. We got help from the midfielders, a lot of help down defense. Graham played great in goal. It was a great team effort. Great game. Great game.
How about your ability to finish against all odds? You've really had a great year this year. 60 goals up now, and then your coach takes you out for the third quarter. Was he just saving you for the fourth, moving people around, playing all your guys?
Just resting, getting other guys in. Keeping everybody fresh, getting some fresh legs, and making sure everybody's all right.
Well, your defense deserves a lot of kudos. I'm sure you'll buy them a soft drink because that defense was pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a great defense, and they've been working hard all year, and they've been doing well. They've been keeping us on man down, on keeping other teams from scoring on man up. They've been doing great. Defense is keeping us in these games, especially goalie. Graham and the defense are what keeps us in these games.
Well, our congratulations to you as the collegelacks.us player of the game, and good luck in the final. That is Trevor Yealy, our player of the game. The final score tonight, 11-7. For John Galvin, I'm Lee Felsmo. Thanks for joining us. This has been a great semifinal for the 2008 Men's Collegiate Lacrosse Association National Tournament in Texas Stadium right here in Irving, Texas. Home of the Cowboys, but this weekend, it's home of the MCLA Lacrosse. Thanks for joining us. See you again.